And look, this is how powerful we all are, right? Like we think we're small little drops in the ocean, but like the ripple effects that start to happen when one light gets turned on here and there, it's like so powerful.
So that was like truly like the first like big kind of soul surrender that I've had.
Until you're at, months down the road and you take a look back and you're like, wow, I had no idea that this is where it was leading me.
It's just incredible. Like it's the best feeling in the world, and it just again confirms that everyone is really here to do something. It's never too late to start.
Welcome to Going Goddess, the podcast where empowerment meets embodiment and divine feminine energy leads the way.
We're your hosts. I'm Silver Luna.
And Cherry, your chief empowerment officers and cosmic hype girls, here to remind you that your magic is not up for debate.
Every week, we're bringing real talk, rituals, and rising woman energy straight to you. Whether you're just soft launching your inner goddess journey or you're leading a full-on revolution, you belong here.
Let's go, Goddess.
Hey everyone, Cherry here, and I'm with my co-host.
Hi, Silver Luna.
Yes, and we have a very special guest with us today, my personal life coach, a purpose alignment coach, human design reader, angel with a mission to create heaven on earth, who helps women ditch the noise, trust their energy, and finally feel free in their own lives. She's the creator of the Abundant Purpose Activator coaching program, and her work is all about returning to your sacred blueprint, the one that your soul never forgot. So please welcome Celia, Angel Celia. Thank you so much for joining us. Would love for you to share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There's nothing I love more than being in the energy of powerful embodied women, and I just love what you goddesses do. So thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Celia, and yeah, I'm a human design coach. I'm a projector, and I really believe in a very beautiful world, and I actually know that it's possible for us to create a really abundant, beautiful world for all living beings very quickly. But right now, humanity needs a little bit of help on the energetic level and the soul level. So my purpose is to help like the soul, the body, the mind, and the spirit align so we can create what I call heaven on earth. And I'm just so happy to be with you ladies on this shared mission so that we can spread more awareness around this beautiful topic.
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy that you're here, Celia. You are so right. The world does need an energy boost right now. We need angels on earth to help us make this heaven on earth.
Yes.
I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with us.
Yeah, excited all the way from Spain, sending some sunshine.
Oh yeah, I was about to say that we're international, you guys. This is our first international guest. We're so excited.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, welcome from Spain. That's so fun.
Global.
So Celia, let's get started with your story. What called you into the world of human design and purpose coaching? Was there a moment that you knew that this was it for you?
Oh wow, it's such a long story. I mean, Cherry, she knows a little bit. I've at this point mastered shortening it down because it's like 20 years in a few minutes. But basically, it's like I didn't really seek this out, but it was seeking me out, right? So most of my life, I felt like an alien. I really felt like I didn't fit into the planet. I felt like something was wrong with me, like I think a lot of people can resonate with. And when I was around 18, I had like my point of initiation, as I call it, which was a really big crisis. I had basically lived like everybody told me, be a good student, have good friends, go out, like look fashionable, all this stuff that should make you happy. And I was so miserable. So I had suicidal depression and I tried to kill myself at that point because I was like, if this is what the world is, then I'm not here for it. Like this is just not for me, right? And I felt like I'm never going to find my place in this world. And I remember it very clearly because even though it's like a traumatic experience that I really hope that most people are not going to have in their life, it also changed something in my soul because when you get so low, it's like there's only one way, and it's forward, right? It's ended or forward. And while I did try a few more times, thankfully, there was a light in me that also told me, like, Celia, you're here to do something. And so I started to, instead of listening to what everybody had told me to do, I started to ask myself questions, and I started to listen to myself more. And it started very small, just with things such as gratitude, which no one had told me about. It's like, oh, gratitude. I remember reading my first gratitude journal. And then I was guided to change my lifestyle and to change the way I eat. And by changing my diet to a raw food diet, I cured my suicidal depression within 3 days. I went off the medication. I never have taken it ever since that. And that was when everything shifted for me, because I was like, wait a minute, I've been taking pills for a year. I have a psychiatrist, I have a support person. And just by changing my diet, I cure all of this that none of this has helped me do. And that's when something switched in my brain. And I was like, what else have I not been told? Like, what else is out there that I don't know about? And then I went completely, into the rabbit hole, conspiracy theorist. I moved to the mountains in Spain. I ditched everything in my life. Like, I literally sold all my possessions. I left my family. I moved to Spain to live with my soulmate that I met also very close to that time, thankfully, because that was like the only person on the planet that probably, got me a little bit. And then I just spent many years fasting and praying, really trying to figure out, like, why am I here? Because I knew that I'm here for a reason. And I was willing to do everything, like everything, to figure it out. And after a while, I did. And it's been honestly an unfolding journey. I don't know about you ladies, but like, it's funny working with purpose, because it's like, a lot of people think it's like, oh, you have this aha moment and then everything makes sense in your life, but it's actually more like following breadcrumbs, right? I don't know if you girls know what I mean, but it's like, oh, you find this thing, and then it's like a little piece of your soul comes back to you, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like more things unfold. And I'm still on the journey. And actually, it wasn't until working around 1 year into human design that I started to realize, wow, I didn't know that this was like what I'm here to do. But very long story short, I discovered one thing was modeling, something that I had actually dreamed of doing when I was like a little girl. I recovered a memory of being in front of the camera when I was just 5 years old and loving it in my little, girl soul, not even knowing what a model was. And I remember in that moment, I thought, this is what I want to do, like, when I grow up. And then I totally forgot about that.
Oh.
Totally suppressed it. I don't know if you ladies have ever experienced that, like just like having a dream and then
Oh
life,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
I
felt
think
that. Go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
Summer. No, please.
Yeah, I think
And
I mentioned it like 3 times on the podcast about like us wanting to be like singers as children and how I didn't even remember it until I was going through like my memory box. So yeah, I totally understand and feel you there.
right. And like, imagine how many people walk there with their dreams like hidden somewhere, right? And
Right.
so, okay, modeling, I was like, living like a monk, this doesn't make sense, right? You want me to be a model? Like, no, I want to help the world. How am I going to do that through modeling? But modeling became like initiation for me also into really having to heal the parts of me that were still like there, traumatized and hiding. And then it also got me into spirituality, because let's not go into that rabbit hole, but let's just say the entertainment industry is very, very infected, energetically speaking. And I came into very close encounters with like lots of demonic entities and all kinds of things that got me to awaken to more of the energetic realms. And also, I was hustling like very hard to like kind of make it, and burning out. And that's when, shortly after I discovered human design, I discovered everyone has a unique energy blueprint and we're not all meant to do it the same way. And that's when I got into creating like my system of like spiritual healing, alignment, and all of these tools that I help my clients to just basically align with who they're here to be. um, yeah, so that's a very long story in a short time. A lot of details that I can't mention, but let's just say it's been a journey. It's still a journey, and I'm loving it, and I'm here for it. And I want as many people as possible just to find that joy of rediscovering themselves and realizing that actually you can be everything you ever dreamt of being.
Yes. Yes. That is like hugely part of our mission here at Going Goddess, to like
Mm-hmm.
remind us and our listeners, the goddesses listening that are on this goddess in progress journey, that like we are best self. We have that in us. We've just had all these layers of like bullshit and conditioning and societal expectations thrown on top that have clouded like our knowing of what we're supposed to do here and how to feel best like in this experience, in this human experience.
Yeah.
Um,
I love it.
All about learning how to unlearn all of that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And like human design has been such a fast track for that for me. Like even thinking about, just like how I best make decisions. Maybe would have done like some huge long course forever just to find out that I need to talk out everything. And that's how I make my best decisions. But then human design's like, hey, here's a blueprint, just experiment, see if it works. And so yeah, I'm so glad that you found human design and that you found your purpose and then you found me. It truly has been life changing, being in your orbit.
Yeah, and look at this. I remember you telling me that you got on this podcast also, totally through invitation, through purpose, actually, and posting like a reel around purpose, right? So it's those little breadcrumbs that, like, we don't really see them at the moment, but they lead to such beautiful alignment. So that's so amazing.
Yes. And it's like, listeners, let it be magical. Like, if it feels like a sign, it's a freaking sign. Let it be a sign. If it's like, is that a breadcrumb for my soul? Follow it. Like, and you can always turn around if you need to. But I think there was a time in my life where I was seeing these blue jay feathers all the time. And I had asked for like signs and I was like, why do I keep seeing these blue jays? That's not anything. And I was working with a shaman at the time and was like, no, you need to start really paying attention to these things. And why not? Why not believe in the magic? It's a big thought process for me. At the end of the day, on my deathbed, if someone said, you believed in magic your whole life and it turns out none of it's real, I would still look at them and say my life was very magical. So that's way better than trying to fit into a box and find out, oh, well, the box was the right thing, but you were in a box your whole life. So,
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right.
I love that. Yeah. So beautiful.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. I can't imagine. It's just funny. You're right. The breadcrumbs, they are the steps along the journey that you don't pick up along the way until you're at, months down the road and you take a look back and you're like, wow, I had no idea that this is where it was leading me. The podcast is a great example. When Sherry and I first talked about it, it was a wild idea that we're going to do it and we're going to see if we can stick to it and if we can commit. And we went way past the commitment phase. And now it's like a part of our ingrained lives. And it's crazy. You wouldn't have known that journey until you pick up those breadcrumbs and you just do it. And if it's not right, the universe will tell you.
yes,
Yeah.
that's been
Exactly.
another thing. It's been very easeful, which is like what your whole thing is. I feel like, Celia, of just like, we don't have to hustle and like force and fight for our lives to align with our purpose. I mean, we
Yeah.
might have to make some leaps of faith, um, but it's just there hasn't been like doors shut. Like it's been going with the flow and like just getting better and better all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like magic is like a frequency you kind of exist in, and it is kind of like you can step in and out, right? Or decide where you want to operate. And I love what you share here, Cherry. It makes me, it gives me memories. I remember when I was around 5, and it was the most heartbreaking moment of my life. And I remember this moment of finding exactly a blue jay feather in the forest of my kindergarten, I think it was. And I was so excited. I was like, this feather magic is real. It's so beautiful. And I ran to one of the ladies there and I screamed to her, look, magic is real. Magic is real. And I remember her she was one of the teachers there. And I remember her turning to me with this most dense energy and just looking at my face and saying, this is just a blue jay feather.
Oh,
And I remember in that moment, my heart sinking totally to the ground, and I just cried. Like, I was like, I couldn't hold it anymore. I couldn't hold the belief in magic because no one was there to support me in that belief. And I remember that feather was like my hope, right? And it was shattered by this lady. And to now fast forward, almost 30 years, I'm the lady who literally will pick up feathers everywhere she goes in the street. I'm here in Cadiz on a little trip right now, and every time I see a feather, my inner child heals a little more, and it's like it's there. It's so real. And like you, I don't care what anybody says because there's no one that could convince me otherwise. Like literally, my whole life, my whole business is based on magic, and I could not have planned out none of it. I mean, I have goals, of course, I have dreams, but in the bigger picture, I'm just surrendered to something bigger that I know will always lead to, that highest alignment. And that's when we really allow for the space of magic to come in. And I really believe that when I tried to kill myself, it was really me killing that part that was so like entrenched into the matrix and into that kind of like very dense energy. And that moment onwards was like when my soul was rising more to the fullness, and yeah, the phoenix. So life is, it gets to be really magical, and we get to choose, of course, what reality we want to operate in. And I think you can never explain this to someone who doesn't actually live it. But I think at the same time, everybody deep down loves magic. Like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. Why would we have billions of people obsessed with these kind of things, right? It's because we know, innately, we know there's more to life than what we just see.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
very much so. And listeners, like when Celia says you can create your reality, she shared about, knowing that she wanted to be a model growing up. And I don't know if you like said that you were, but like she is very much a model now, like on her way to supermodel, traveling, magazines, runway shows. So like that's someone who, yeah, was like suicidal and then a monk and then had this knowing that she was going to be a model and is a model. Like I want to like call that out because I think it's just like, for me, when I heard that, I was like, what do you mean you just achieved this dream that you've had since a child and nothing in your life like led you to that? Did you have any like classes? And then it was just this like knowing of like, oh, you don't actually, when it's aligned for you, it's not going to be, I think, like linear, like what society says it's supposed to look like.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. And good call out. I wanted to mention that too. The strength to come back from that low of a low and then to rebuild yourself, Celia, is so impressive. The amount of emotional strength that it takes to bring yourself out of that space and to deep dive and analyze yourself and try to find that purpose. That's so much strength and courage that it's really typically very hard, I feel like, to get that without having a support system and a lot of people in your corner. So kudos
Mm,
to you. That's awesome. Living your dream.
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, I do have incredible people in my life, and of course my family, despite all the karma and shit I had to heal with them, they're amazing, and they definitely, even though they have a lot of heavy baggage I had to deal with, they've never been intentionally unsupportive, let's say. So I'm
Yeah.
lucky in many ways. But what carried me through was, I know some people might not like that word. I do like the word God, not in a religious sense, but it was like my surrender to something bigger. I really don't feel like it was me that was like, okay, now I'm going to solve this. It was like that suicide attempt was really killing that old part that was trying to control everything in my life. And it was like, okay, I have to surrender to something bigger. And that's really what carries me through everything. And people might like different words, universe or aliens or whatever people resonate with. Like,
Source, spirit,
Yeah.
whatever that thing is that we're connected to. If you've ever done, I think about like people who have taken mushrooms. I have in the past as well, and it just feels like there's some like ancient connection somewhere, and I'm like, I think that's connected to God somewhere. Okay, yeah, I just like God, spirit, source, energy, universe. It feels all
mm,
love. It feels all the same.
It is
Like,
connected. It's all an energy, an
yeah.
omnipresent source. I agree. To me, the universe is what I would consider my God. But it
mhm.
is still that same energy source that we're looking to, and we know that there's magic coming from it. We just don't know how it's being made, other than putting into the universe or into our God what we want back out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm really curious. Like, did you ladies have a moment where you also felt just like that surrender? Was there like a specific moment that got you to be like, okay, I'm gonna trust this more, I'm gonna let this lead me or guide me more? Because I feel like for so many of us, there's like some sort of initiation, or there's a moment where we just like, okay, can't like hold it all together, I can't control it anymore. So I'm super curious to hear that. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask questions, but I
Yeah.
always
Oh,
like to know
yes,
people.
yes, yes. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
I do know mine, and it was very recent because I've since a young age like knew that I wanted to be a life coach, like even from like a young kid. That's like, what do you even know about life coaching? I'm like, I just want to help people live their best, and I feel like I have a good way of doing it. So like I've had this kind of wellness, like soul searching mindset for a really long time, and didn't realize how much I was maybe using that to like cover up places that I wasn't willing to surrender and work through. And so like finding human design like changed my life and set me on this trajectory to meet you to introduce me to like the pearl sequence and the gene keys to take me to my shadow of resistance and numbing. And I had that download. That was November 21st, because November 22nd was my first like full sober day. And it was like, oh, this is such a big place of resistance. I thought it was just a little glass of wine that I was frustrated saying no to. And it was full surrender of like an identity, a way of life, a lie I was telling myself around moderation. I love you, Celia. Well, love, poison in moderation is still poison.
I remember that moment.
So
I
true.
remember it.
Yes. So that was like truly like the first like big kind of soul surrender that I've had, because I've been open and like down to learn and receive and grow. I feel like my whole life, but this has been the biggest initiation feeling moment for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that just from an outside perspective. Because I remember talking to you right after. It's when we were starting to plan the Going Goddess podcast. And it was like a switch that had flipped, and it was beautiful to watch. Like Jerry knew what she wanted and was going after it. It was a moment. I would say for mine, I don't want to always place my like goddess journey back on like burns, but I would say that like that's where I have found a lot of my alignment. I don't know that I'm necessarily I think I'm still on my journey to find my exact purpose, because I'm always doing different things and I can't seem to get myself focused. But I will say that the point where I found like the most clarity was at Burning Man in 2022. And it was because of a series of other burns and festivals leading up to the big burn, and having gone to Canceled Man the year before because of COVID. Burning Man had gotten canceled. And so Jesus and I were part of the small, like, collective of a couple thousand people that went all the way out to the desert with absolutely no organization and recreated the big burn with a couple thousand other people. And so it was like the most radical self reliance, the most inclusive I've ever felt. But then in the burn in 2022, I didn't feel that necessarily. And I felt that huge shift of, what am I doing here? Why am I mad at everybody else for not listening to me? Why is nobody listening to me? And then that was a moment that I realized that I needed to stop and quit blaming everybody else for all of my shortcomings and me not speaking up and not owning my voice. I'm talking to them, but they're not listening because I'm not convicted in what I'm saying. I'm not telling them things that I really mean. I'm telling them things with superficial meaning and impact because I want to be a part of their camp and I want to be a part of this environment, but in reality wasn't giving my full. And so that was the real moment that I realized, like, I'm not actually putting myself into my life. I'm letting life happen to me. And that's when I started listening to the universe's messages and living with the principles of the burn, which are like immediacy, radical inclusion, radical self-reliance, radical self-expression. There's 10 principles, and now those are my life guiding principles because of how much impact they've had.
Wow, amazing.
Thanks for sharing that. And Celia, Silver says, because I just am doing all these different things. She's a man.
Manifesting generator, no? I was like, I'm gonna ask you, you're a manifesting generator. Don't
Yeah.
worry, keep doing all your things.
Do
Yeah.
all this.
Can't
Yeah.
seem to stop.
For her to be mad that people weren't listening, I think it was so funny. Like, just do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Anyways,
exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can feel like that for the manifesting generators. But when you look deeply at your chart and you put everything together, it's gonna make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I've reviewed it with Cherry a couple of times, and it does make a lot of sense. It's a matter of honing and finding the right points to focus on and hone into.
Yeah.
I share so much human design, and I just remind everyone, like, whatever you're called to read about it, like maybe it's just a paragraph or it's about one gift, like your soul knows what you need, and then you can just chew on that for as long as you need because there's so much to
Oh, for
learn.
sure.
Yeah.
Never ending. Yeah. It's never ending.
Definitely.
It's beautiful. I love my manifesting generators. My partners also. Yeah, and I love, for me, manifesting generators are just here to be like such an example of authenticity because you're here to show that there's a different way about doing things and it's not meant to be like the linear way. So, like, the most important thing for manifesting generators is to honor that and like to really allow yourself to zigzag in between things and do things differently. And yeah,
Well, that's good. I'm working on it.
amazing.
It's like 5 items at a time. I finally had to put it on a whiteboard. Like, what am I even thinking about doing right now?
Yeah,
But it is nice to get the residual Celia lessons sometimes because I'll talk to Cherry about like all these things and she'll go through it with me and like, no, that's exactly what you're called to do. And it's so great to learn from Cherry and then from Celia as a byproduct.
yeah. I
Like,
love it. The
the
ripple
ripple
effect.
effect right
Yes.
Yes,
there. Like, I love that.
exactly.
Celia, so we were kind of talking about like purpose, and there's so many women out here that might feel stuck or like, okay, purpose, like what on earth do you mean? I feel like maybe I am made for more. I don't know what it is, or maybe like if someone doesn't know how to find their purpose or they're feeling stuck, like what would you say?
Well, I think the major thing I would say is like everybody has a purpose. Some people, they might have this idea, like I have no idea what it is. Maybe, there's nothing there for me. Everybody does have a purpose because your soul came here specifically to discover itself, right? In reality, in my point of view, we're just all expressions of God, and like God, again, I use this word, you can use whatever word you want. God seeing itself like from a bazillion different perspectives just to experience life, right? And then on this planet, like we really have a mission to create more peace and harmony in the universe, and that starts like on this micro scale with planet Earth, which is like one of the planets with the most diversity in the entire like galaxy. And if we can manage to create peace here, like we can manage to do it like also on a bigger scale. And like it starts individually, everything is macro micro the way that I see it. So like it starts with every individual just going inside and like really starting to look at, where am I fighting myself? I know all of us, we don't like to see wars on a global scale, but like it's actually more important for us to look at what's the war that I'm having with myself every day. Like where am I poisoning myself, where am I hurting myself, where am I fighting myself? Because that's really where we're blocking ourselves off from that higher perspective. And in my work, when I help someone find their purpose, I always say that I cannot add anything to you because there's nothing for me to add. Like in your DNA, you literally have all the information you need. But what I help you do is remove what's there in the way and blocking you. And so the example with cherry is so perfect. Like alcohol was the poison that was used every day to like keep you out of alignment, right? And so there are all these little things and behaviors, and maybe even sometimes in our energy field we carry certain like imprints from past lives or from our ancestors that are really blocking us from our full expression. So if someone feels really really disconnected, it's usually a sign that there's just some realignment needed, and to start to really do that work with yourself or maybe seek out support or whatever it might be. And it can be as simple as like instead of starting your morning scrolling first thing on Instagram, start with a 5-minute breath work or meditation and feel what it actually feels like to start connecting with yourself. And even this example, I think so many people can resonate with. Like, what do you do whenever you're bored? Like, okay, say you're in the grocery line and whatever, you're waiting for something. Do you first grab your phone and you start to distract yourself? Or you can take the moment to be like, okay, let me actually take a breath and feel, how is my body feeling right now? Like, where am I holding tension and where am I like feeling a little bit sticky in my body? Because all of these are like expressions of where we can bring more presence. So it's just really like for me a process of the soul coming back into the body, and it starts with those little habits. So if anyone wants just something to start with, I would say like 5 minute or even less 2 minute meditation, but do it every morning. And in 30 days, like try and look at what has changed in your life or your well-being or how you're feeling.
Yeah, I love that. Because there's a lot of, I used to have a lot of resistance to meditation, and I know that some people are like, my brain just goes nuts for, I can't sit for 5 seconds without my brain going crazy. And it's like, well, what if let's start really small, and it's okay to have things come in. You just acknowledge, okay, thought, go back to trying to just be present in that moment. I love when you say like breathe into your heart center, because having that like visualization of when I inhale, the air is going into my heart, and when I exhale, it's coming out of my heart, helps me like have something to hold on to, um, until I can get to the place where I can just be. And I'm just sharing this, I guess, for our listeners out there that are like, I'm not going to fucking meditate. And I'm like, okay, maybe think about your heart. And the important part there is that connection that eventually you're going to feel to that heart space. Like you said, in 30 days, like I wonder how many people feel connected to heart space if they just like did that meditation for a minute or 2 minutes every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Or like plug something from YouTube. Like not everyone I think is really designed to meditate, in like I, for instance, I'm not the kind of person that will just sit and try and think about nothing. I think that's like self-torture in many ways. Like I'd much rather put on an audio hypnosis. That's why Cherry and Appa Ascension, like the amount of meditations I throw your way is like just so you have so many different tools, right? And so find one that works for you. Like it's not like there's one right way. Some people would like breathwork, some people would like um, visualization, some people would like frequencies, whatever it might be. But just that habit of coming back to yourself instead of disassociating with yourself is like that's where it starts. And it starts very small, but as you also know, Cherry, like the whole APA system of life purpose activation is like just a fast track ticket to finding your purpose. And that is like a lot of different steps that really is again just coming back to yourself, right? Like it's a methodology, but everyone can start at home with just like becoming more present with who they are, is what I would say.
I love that. And then I love the question that you said. You're like, well, my whole thing is how do we create heaven on earth? And when you first said that to me, when we first like started working together, I was like, what on earth does she mean by this? Like, oh, she wants angels flying around. And now it's like, oh no, she really does want angels flying around, and it's going to be possible. But it was just, then once I like really thought into that and reflected on it for me, it's like, oh, like that feels like peace and joy and creativity and like flow. And so what can I do to help the world get to that state? And that helped me figure out, like, get closer to purpose, or at least it was like a next step. So listeners, you know, feel into what could your role be in creating heaven on earth? What would be really fun if you're the person who bakes all of the cakes, you're the person who makes all of the outfits, like whatever that looks like, or you the guide that like leads people to like their next level, like whatever it is. We're trying to, we're creating heaven on earth.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. So whenever you think about like those, like your purpose and discovering your purpose and your energy types, what would you tell like to the person that just discovered their energy type and they're not sure yet what their purpose is? They're just getting on this journey, like, and they need to know a permission slip that it's okay to show up as what they've been called to be in their human design as a projector or as a manifestor, manifesting generator. What would you tell them in the beginning of their journey?
Well, definitely research it, I would say, or best thing for everyone is to get a reading because it's like such a deep language. And for me, human design is, I'm a very skeptical person, actually, even if it may not seem so. So I'm not the one to like really just like religiously be like, oh, this is the answer to everything. But human design for me has been like probably one of the tools that's just like proven itself in such a way that I cannot question it in my own life and in every way. And I have no doubt that it was brought to this planet right now for us to literally create this beautiful new era where we get to thrive in abundance and self-expression and all of these things. So definitely dive into your human design. Don't be scared to invest into really getting to know yourself, because studying human design and trying to understand your chart by yourself can take a few years, right? So there are literally people out there who are really good at it, and especially projectors are the best ones to get to help you read your chart, because they're the ones who really see you. Exactly. And Cherry, like, yeah. And at first you can just Google it, and what it really gets to be is that permission slip to understand, like for you, Silva, for instance, oh, I do a million things. And, there can be that wound around it, like, oh, I can never focus. I'm always doing so many things. Why can't I just focus? Why can't I just finish something, right? Like a typical manifesting generator wound. And then human design comes and be like, wait, Silver, this is who you are. You're not meant to finish something unless you're excited about finishing it. Drop the book, even if you're only at chapter 3, if you're no longer excited about it. And then I don't know how that feels to you, but maybe there's a part of you that can take a breath and be like, oh, okay, maybe
Yeah.
I can just like be me.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because it is definitely a wound that's caused by always having something going on and feeling like you can't accomplish enough. What about what permission slips would you give to projectors like Cherry?
Take naps. There's, yeah, so much. Like, really, the moment it starts to feel hard, stop. Don't ever push yourself beyond what feels good. Set boundaries. Like, you are a precious diamond. Projectors are like the most, we're like diamonds, literally. And we need to treat ourselves like diamonds and not try to be fitting into, the whole fast paced world. So, the biggest permission slip I would say to a projector is you're not meant to work. You're not meant to work at all. So that already causes a lot of problems for projectors. They're like, but what am I meant to do then? Like, what do you mean? Like, how am I gonna, like, I don't understand that. All the conditioning is already gonna come up, right? Because innately, whenever I say this to a projector, they're like, yeah, man, I know this, but blah, 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 I don't know how to do it, right? So it's like really start to get to understand your energy. And since you're not meant to work, but you're here to guide, like, we really have to have such a different paradigm shift around how the world functions for us, because we are the ones that need to operate in the energy realm more than anything. So it's not about what we do, it's not about what we accomplish, it's not about our education or our CV or anything like that. It's about how well we take care of our energy. And that requires, I mean, it just requires a whole paradigm shift, because we have to operate so differently than the whole world. So if any projectors are listening to this or watching this, maybe you can let us know how it feels. But I know for most of projectors, even though it's meant to be a permission slip, at first it's actually going to be a trigger, and it's going to be like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like, what am I going to do then? Because it brings up all of the shit that we've just been trained into.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Big time. But then you follow your design and it's real. It works. I mean, you're evidence of it. I'm evidence of it. I haven't applied for the last 3 jobs that I've gotten because I was like, I'm just gonna, although I know I'm not supposed to work, I still know there is something in the space that I'm in the tech space. I feel a lot of success there, which is like a signature for me. And also I have worked the energy to be able to fit it in my life. And I think that's because this job is aligned for me. And someone reached out to me about it. I waited for the invitation, and it's more money than I've ever gotten paid, less hours, more travel, like fun travel and yummy food and amazing people. So like
Yeah.
I was following
Yeah.
my strategy. So
Exactly. Yeah, that's another thing that I would probably tell projectors, like, you're meant for the good life, and like own that. I think every projector is just like, knows that we're meant to sit with like a mocktail in our hand on the beach and just like receive 20,000 into our bank accounts. And like some projectors can carry guilt around that, right? But like when you own it, it gets to be so freaking amazing. Like this is
Yes.
also how I run my entire business. And I just in the last month more than doubled my income literally just by traveling to Bali, Thailand, doing dance festivals and having fun and taking care of my energy at the same time. And it's like to the brain it doesn't make sense, and to the soul it's like, heck yeah, I get to decide. Like it gets to be this good, it gets to be this fun. I get to, next year it's gonna be multiple six figures a month and it's gonna be seven figures, and like just owning that is also so powerful for us.
And not to say that all of the other types don't deserve the good life and they aren't diamonds. That's not what Celia is saying at all. You just might not see me at Burning Man. I will be in the hotel in the luxury penthouse suite, and you guys can work on the things. I don't know. No, you might see it at Burning Man, but I just like, please don't sign me up for manual labor or anything. So maybe you won't see me at Burning Man. Anyway,
That
that's
is kind of a funny, like, tangible difference between the types of us, like the types that we are. You're right. I would rather be roughing it out in the desert and like making things happen, making big art and learning hard lessons about myself in the harshest of environments. Whereas you would prefer to be in the penthouse suite, hanging out, eating nice,
Yeah,
drinking mocktails.
yes.
exactly. It's like every design we have, there's no right or wrong. Like sometimes, I do a reading and for a generator and they're like, oh, I'm a generator. Like, oh, the most normal one. I'm like, wait a moment, like you're meant to be a generator. It's amazing. And like we all in our soul level actually love who we are and love our design, and it feels so yummy for us because it's like who we are, and there's no better feeling than literally just embodying who we are. But it's just about, again, like really owning that and getting back to that. And yeah, that some of the types will love hustling and building and working and like being here and there and everywhere and like doing 10 things at the same time. And some will like would want to sit there and reflect on things, and some will like get others to do the stuff for them. And so it's just beautiful how diverse the planet is in that sense.
Yes, very much so. It was fun, Silver, to hear April. She was like, my Manny Gen energy, and she was just like going like running and like, let's do this. Like it was so funny and cute, and she was just in her power. And then
Agreed.
like when I meet generators that are interested about human design or like have some spirituality, I get so excited because I'm like, wait a second, you are making the world go round and you're also awake. And so like you're very powerful because not every generator slows down enough to be able to like ask that question of like, where's my soul going in all of this? So
Hmm. Yeah. And I feel like that's where so beautifully human design bridges in with the life purpose also. And that's why I use it as a tool for discovering or helping my clients discover their purpose, because it is really like a soul blueprint that explains, like, firstly, how you're meant to operate. And the way that I teach human design is like the most important thing is to understand your energy type and to embody that. Without that, none of the rest of your chart makes sense. So, like anyone listening that wants to start with human design, get to know your energy type first, because that's also going to like lay the foundation for you to really be able to embody your purpose. If you do not, it's like having a car and like not knowing what fuel to give the car, right? So like, how's the car gonna run? Like, it's not gonna run because you're not able to fuel it. And so if you're not understanding your energy type, you're not actually going to be able to be fueled by source, by spirit, by God, whatever you call it, because your channels are blocked, right? So it really starts there in those foundational things, and then the rest comes so beautifully.
Yes. So, what's your favorite transformation that you've witnessed in a client?
Ah, I love that question. So I cannot pick one, like, because every one of my clients, I'm just like, it's a love story. Honestly, it's just so beautiful to witness. I mean, Cherry's story for me is, it's still just like, wow, that I like, even if that was like the only client I had ever worked with, I would feel so accomplished, because helping someone like take that step and like connect deeper with their purpose and soul and be here and doing these podcasts is like, I mean, it's the most beautiful feeling in the world. I get all teary because it's just, so incredible. And that's what that's what I love about following the purpose, because if you had asked me, like, creating up and everything, it was not even, I could never have imagined that. Like, I just wouldn't have imagined with my conscious mind, right? And now I also work with one client that lost her family in a tragic car accident. And she told me after APA, she said, this is the first time that I don't feel this constant knot and pain in my stomach from the loss of my family, thanks to, doing APA. And hearing that was also just like, wow. That was like more than a decade of her life that she'd been carrying that weight. I have another angel. Right now, I'm working with a beautiful, amazing woman. She's 66, and she just like, I've been chatting with her this week, and she's like, "Celia, I'm like, now I understand what my purpose is. Like, I'm here to help women." Like, overcome abusive patterns, and like just to feel her joy in like actually discovering what she's here to do. It's just incredible. Like, it's the best feeling in the world, and it just again confirms that everyone is really here to do something. It's never too late to start. I just cannot pick one. There's so many, and the spectrum is so big. And it's funny because APA is really marketed in a way to help you actually make a lot more money through understanding your design and to discover your purpose. And then what comes with it is so much deeper. It's like soul healing, and it's just such a beautiful spectrum to witness.
Nice. I really like your analogy about the cars, and it makes me think about like all of your different clients and how like if they like, especially one that had lost her family, and imagining going through that and like for years just trying to put in the wrong fuel and not
Mm.
understanding why you're not making any progress and why you're not feeling any better about it. Like, and then to find your design and to my human design and to identify your energy type and to learn how to like proceed, just find that tool. It's really, it's really impactful, and it would be really helpful for a lot of like, I'm happy that we have this podcast to share that message. So I think that there's so
Mm.
many people that don't know about my human design or know where to start to look into these things, and they just keep refueling with the wrong fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I remember when I mean, I'm still in business development, but starting off, it's like, I know the right things to say. I know how to connect with people. I'm putting the most hours in. I'm making the most phone calls. And everyone tells me that I'm going to be the best at this job. Like, and everyone says I'm great at it, but I'm not seeing the results. What on earth is going on? Like, I have everything I need and it's still not clicking. And then it was like, oh, I'm not supposed to hustle. This is a very like energetic thing for me. Like, and so it just totally shifted the way that I approach my work. And now I'm very successful in what I do. And yeah, it was just, I was putting the wrong fuel in. Even when other people are telling me, oh, you're so good at this, it's like, well, I'm not feeling good at it. And it's actually not panning out.
Mm.
Somewhere too, like we might have people in our lives telling us that we're so great at something, and it might, we just have that little kind of like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right, but everyone says I'm good. Like, listen to that inner knowing. That can be your, I don't know, sign to see like maybe you need to do a different, or look at your human design and
Yeah.
approach that a little differently.
Yeah, especially as projectors. I mean, that's why I initially specialized with projectors. Like, I can use one example as well. One of my clients, NASA, she used to work a 9 to 5 and live in like a room in Barcelona. And when we started working together, within 6 months, her transformation was that she used to make like 2K a month. She had like a 15K a month. Now she's living in Bali in her own villa. And like, so looking at the practical results, like, she's probably one of the people I've worked with that has had the biggest transformation. And it all came from like literally embracing her projector energy. And now she's lived 6 months in Bali. At this point, she's still there. She gets to live the good life. And I remember this moment where she wrote me and she was like in shock because she just had the news of her commission. She had the biggest deal of anyone in her office, and everyone is like, how are you doing this? And she's like, well, just meditate every day and do my energy work, you know? And I remember her telling me, like, okay, now I know it works, Celia. Now I know this energy stuff works. So there's also, like, usually for us, like, a lot of work in, like, just really trusting that we don't have to hustle and carry the load and, like, do the heavy work all the time. That when we really do find that place within ourselves, there are like, really bigger forces that help us. So it's super powerful. There's such an easy way. And also in general, as women, like, we have a magnetic power to us when we allow ourselves to really take care of our temple and, like, activate that goddess energy. And abundance is like, we are abundance. So it's not even that we can be separated from it, unlike if we want to look at a financial level. It's just, again, really about that homecoming and bringing all parts back to us, and looking at where we're dissociating, where we're neglecting, where we're hiding part of us, and owning that too muchness of whatever we want to call it, and just being all of who we are. It's so powerful.
Yes. Oof.
Yes, our radical
So,
authenticity.
yes. What is your very favorite energy clearing practice?
My favorite energy clearing practice. Oh, you guys have such good questions. I love it. As you know, Cherry, I have so many that also it's like they all depend on the moment. But definitely my favorite energy medicine is shamanism. Because in shamanism, we know that everything starts on what we call the luminous energy field. Everything that you experience in your life is imprinted into your luminous energy field, even the way that you're going to die or get sick. And by being able to access that, you can actually rewrite those things. So sometimes the way people are instructed to die is karmic or through their family. And when we know how to work with the luminous energy field, we can clear that. We can change it so that it goes from being a traumatic event to an actual, more aligned event, for instance, or and maybe it's going to happen in a totally different way. So for me, it's like shamanism for sure. And that's what we do in APA, for instance. Ancestral karma clearing is where we go into the luminous energy field and we clear the karma from our ancestors, so that we no longer have to repeat the patterns and the stories that our mom, grandma, great grandma, la 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 la. Ever wondered why you're like, I'm always experienced this thing, and my mom always experienced this thing, and my grandma always experienced this thing. Well, it's imprinted into your luminous energy field, so you're replaying the same story. Let's clear that so that your soul can choose the story and not what was passed on to you. So it has to be shamanism for sure.
Wow.
Wow.
This is so interesting. I'm placing shamanism with past life regression for some reason. I am putting the two next to each other, even though they're unrelated. So past life regression would be your life, things that you've lived in the past, whereas shamanism and lunar clearing would be clearing the past traumas from ancestors and family members through the lunar field, right? Am I understanding that?
Yeah, it's like the luminous energy field. Some people will call it the aura, whatever you want to call it. Is like, imagine it's like the film strip that contains all of the information of the film that is your life. So we can like change that film strip if there are things you don't want to experience that maybe actually just like, what we call karmic imprints that are not going to serve you. They're just like little mud or little dark spots on the film strip
Yeah.
that we can clear. So it really is going in and just rewriting. And I think a big part of this shift we're going to see, and also as projectors, that what we're here to bring in is that awareness around the energy level, which is what humans have been mostly disconnected with. And honestly, when you master the energy level, you master everything in your life. There's like nothing that's out of reach for you. Because again, imagine if you can rewrite the way that you're going to live and the way you're going to die, or the sickness is like every physical illness always starts in the luminous energy field. So a shaman can see, if you don't clear this imprint, you will probably die from a heart attack, for instance, because they can see in your heart that there's a big, dense ball of dark energy, for instance. And then by clearing that, we can clear that imprint. And also by seeing that, they can say, okay, your ancestors probably had heart issues, right? Because this came to you in the luminous energy field. So it's very, very fascinating. I'm deep in studying shamanism right now, so it's like a whole other rabbit hole.
Oh my gosh. Is that like some of the work that you do when we like hop onto our calls and you'll do like some energy clearing with us and like anchoring us in the new earth grid.
That's it's a different energy medicine that I'm also studying, but in the end, I would maybe call that spirit shamanism, whereas what I'm talking about now is more like earth shamanism. These are very ancient traditions that have been like passed on in Peru and all these places where they have like very powerful medicine people. But all of it comes together, in the end it's like energy is energy, and as many humans as there are, as many ways there will be to master it and move it and heal it and clear it. And yeah, I'm just obsessed with learning all the ways that I can. Like
Yeah.
diving into that world.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone attached to you is so glad that you're studying this right now, because we feel the ripple effects in the best way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I thank you as a byproduct.
I love that. I love this full circle moment. And look, this is how powerful we all are, right? Like we think we're small little drops in the ocean, but like the ripple effects that start to happen when one light gets turned on here and there, it's like so powerful, because now your podcast like reaches lots of people, and like the event you just had is like impacting several people, and it's like it really spread so much faster than we can actually imagine. So that's why I know heaven on earth is not like a distant reality at all, but it's like every individual taking that self responsibility and radical like sovereignty into what we each can do for ourselves to show up like as better versions. So I'm really excited for this. And actually, this is a big part of shamanism as well. They say that heaven on earth is like, it's a potential, but it's, if you look at it mathematically, it might be a very small potential. But if we have in shamanism what they call the dreamers, the people that can believe in it regardless of the statistics or whatever, they're able to birth like this new reality and actually be the ones who dream this world into being. So we just need the people who are willing to believe in magic, like you ladies, right? And who are willing to like embody that, and that's how we change the world. So it's just such an exciting time to be alive, honestly.
Wow, that's amazing. Yes, it is.
So we have a new segment called the Goddess Oracle, and it's just kind of like the last piece of information from our episode that you want to leave with our listeners. One question I like to ask is, a true goddess never apologizes for, and then fill in the blank. And then if you feel like another piece of information coming through that you want to leave with the Goddess Oracle, that would be great.
Okay, so you want me to finish the sentence?
Yes.
A true goddess never apologizes for?
Yes.
Okay. A true goddess never apologizes for being too much.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
We love that. Louder. I love that. Perfect. This combo was pure medicine. Like I feel so lit up. Do you have any like parting words that you would like to leave with our listeners today?
Well, I hope that this has been a little mushroom journey for those listening, that it's been a little portal into just believing in something deeper, because if there's something I can say, like never stop believing in magic, and you are the magic. And so it's just all about, and you don't even need anything to like bring that out, So life is meant to be like that fun, this good, that wild, that crazy in the best of ways. So yeah, own that. And do the little things every day that make you believe in magic, and seek out the people that make you feel magical, and just create the life in a way that brings you to that highest place. And yeah, don't be scared of growing and changing and seeking out information, and yeah, have fun with the journey, because that's what you're really meant to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Love it. And
Where can our listeners find you online if they want to follow you or get in touch with you, maybe for coaching or something? I know you have special ways of getting clients, but
Yeah, I have my social media. I'm super active there, as Cherry knows. Like, there's not a part of my life that goes without ending somewhere in the stories. You can find me at I am Angel Celia. So, I am Angel Celia. Well, maybe you'll see it written somewhere. And like, depending on your human design type, I have like free masterclass for every single human design type on how you can activate your purpose. So whether you're like a manifester, a projector, a manifesting generator, reach out to me, and like I'll be super happy to send you the video, because that could be like your portal into really just starting to understand that there is something bigger. Sometimes we just need to see from someone else that it's possible, right? So yeah, definitely recommend following, because I am very much on fire on my social media every day. I also have a YouTube that I link sometimes from my social media, because I actually don't even remember the name of my YouTube channel. That's how organized I am. But I have a YouTube channel where I post some stuff, also some snippets of heaven and earth. And yeah, if you're in Barcelona area, I do in-person women's circles, retreats. I'm also gonna do in Bali next year, some immersions. And so things are happening, things are moving. And yeah, I would love to connect with you guys for sure.
Awesome. Yes, and I'll include all of the links and stuff in the show notes and in the podcast. So all of our listeners will have easy access to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can find us on Instagram at Going Goddess Podcast and join our community of radiant rebels in the Goddess Collective on Facebook, a sacred space where we take these conversations even deeper.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. You're leading it.
Goddess vibes only. And as always, stay radiant,
Stay empowered,
and keep going, Goddess.